Hello everyone, Taylor here. I'm just helping everyone out with installing the virtual airline operations system onto their shared hosting. Now, the thing is that I've noticed there's been a lot of issues installing it. People complain that setup file doesn't exist, or that I noticed in the URLs that it's just set up incorrectly. In fact, the way some people have it set up, it actually opens up a security hole that can cause people to easily hack your airline, steal all your personal information, and that's not fun for anyone. So I'm going to teach you how to properly set up VAOS onto shared hosting, and we're going to be doing that using TFDI's shared hosting. If you don't have TFDI's shared hosting, setup steps may be slightly different, but the big thing about TFDI's shared hosting is that you don't have SSH, so you can't just do a git clone and pull the repository right into the server, nor do you have Composer, so you can't actually install all the dependencies. You have to use a binary version that I release onto the GitHub releases, and those links will be in the video description. A very important note, of course, is I did start up a Patreon. So if you are interested in possibly becoming getting on Patreon and donating to me, that would be absolutely awesome. I'm doing this in my spare time, and hopefully, I can put a lot of benefits to you guys. I don't have any benefits right now for doing that. There's also, you can also do single-time donations in the admin panel of every VAOS install. There's a little donate button at the top if you didn't remove it. Because I know some people will probably just remove that. But anyways, let's get started here. So what we're going to do is I am right now in the cPanel, and we're just going to pop into the file manager of my cPanel install. Now, there is two ways of installing the system, and there's unfortunately, because of how things work, there are two separate methods of doing this, and you have to ask the question: do you install the system on a subdomain, or do you want to install it as your main domain? If you install it as your main domain, it's going to be probably the easiest to do. And unfortunately, subdomain, you have a lot more files you have to edit and stuff, because you have to keep most of the system outside of the public folder as possible, because it just makes it easy for someone to very easily hack your system, because config files are not usually in a protected space, and we'll go over why that is here in a little bit. But we're gonna first start off by, just in case you don't have any website, you don't have any system, you're gonna be using VAOS as your primary and only source for your web hosting. So that means that we're gonna be putting it on the root of your domain. So it's not gonna be subdomain; it's gonna be the root top level domain. So let's get started. First off, our public.html folder is completely empty right now. So the first thing we're gonna do is, of course, upload VAOS. So I'm going to go upload here. I'm gonna click on the home here, and then I'm going to then upload it to the root directory. So give me a second. I need to go into here and GitHub VAOS, and that's going to just upload. That should take a couple seconds. And of course, it's going to upload to the public HTML folder. That's fine. However, we're going to be moving that around. So let's go back here. So it's right now within the public HTML folder. We don't want it in the public HTML folder. We want it in the root. So we're going to drag it to the root. And we're going to unzip it here. So we're going to extract all the files. We're going to extract the files to the root. And as you notice, that it created a new folder called VAOS, and it's now on the root of the drive. If we go into here, you're gonna normally people just pop VAOS into the public folder, and I'm gonna tell you the reason why that is not correct, and also when people set their subdomaining, it's also not correct. So VAOS essentially, and subsequently Laravel, I should also preface this to let you know that this works on any Laravel installation. So if you have a Laravel project and you want to put it on shared hosting, these same instructions also apply. The issue with is the primary issue is that if you notice here, there is no index.php file at all. There is no index.php file at all. You're going to be so when I see people set up VAOS there and other Laravel installs, they basically set the web root, or they copy and paste all these contents into the public HTML folder, thinking, oh, it's going to run right off the bat. Then, of course, we run into a major issue. You see this .env file. I'm going to actually open up the .env file. Nope, that's not how you open things up. We're going to go here. Let's open this up real quickly and actually show you what this is. So essentially all your database information, everything is stored within this .env file. If you actually store this on directly within inside the public HTML folder, someone can just do a .env right after your URL, right after your top level domain, and boom, they have your database information. They have your product key if you're on the professional tier or you're using special API stuff I might be doing later. They have basically everything, including your mail driver, passwords. I mean, they have everything in here. They even also have your base key, your app key that helps with encrypting your data. It's passwords and all that other stuff. It has that key in there, so now there's a potential they can also decrypt your data, since now they have access to your database, so that way they can now have all your passwords. Not fun stuff. Let's just put it that way. Not fun stuff at all. So let's walk through properly how to install this. The best way to do this, of course, is there's this little thing in every single Laravel install. There's a public folder, and this public folder is the actual endpoint for the application. See, we have the index.php file here. If I go back up here, there is no index.php file. There's a server.php file, but that's not. If you look at the server.php file, there's really nothing in there either. It just does this little thing here. It's just a utility file. Technically, if you actually run this would actually this is actually something a little bit different. But you don't want to run this either. But anyways. The big thing is that the public folder, we need to copy the contents of the public folder into the actual public HTML folder, so that way we can actually get things running. So let's do that now. So we're going to highlight everything. We're going to move that into the public HTML folder. Boom. So we have everything moved into the public HTML folder. Now what we have to do is we have to modify the index.php file to be able to point back to Laravel, so that way you can start the Laravel application the way it normally does. So to do that, we need to edit the file, and then we need to modify the file. Now there's these two directories that we're calling here. The directory. So what it's doing here is that it's going to try to do the autoloader, which loads up the framework, and then this here loads specifically the Laravel application itself. So the first thing we need to do is we need to modify these two directories. Now, if you recall, if we go back to the file manager, what's going to happen is that we're going to be, normally we go up a directory. If we're in the public folder, we go up a directory into VAOS, and then to the VAOS folder, and then we move into the Bootstrap folder. However, that folder technically doesn't exist anymore. If we go up a directory, we're going to be into the root of our web hosting. So what we need to do is we need to add VAOS, the VAOS folder, into that directory. So the only thing we have to do here is we're going up a directory, and then we're just going to do VAOS, and then VAOS, and that's basically all we have to do there. Now, the other thing too is, of course, we got to modify the ACARS routes as well. So to do that, we need to go into boot. We need to go into the legacy ACARS. We need to go into the boot, and then we need to modify the .env so that we can load this .env file. So we're going to back up a couple directories. Then we're going to go VAOS. And then this should get the env file loaded properly into the system, which will then be able to get its app URL and then everything else. Now, going back to the env file, now that we have everything set up there, what we need to do now is we need to go into our, not the legacy ACARS, we need to go into our VAOS folder, and we need to copy this .env file and rename it to .env. So we're going to edit this. Well, actually, we're going to, let's see, rename. We're going to rename .env to .env. Now, I should preface this. I forgot to mention that I do have hidden files and folders enabled. In order for you to do that, you need to go to settings and then make sure hidden files and is enabled in order for you to be able to see these files. If you can't see the files, that's easily the reason why you're having the issue. So, now that we have this as a .env, we can then proceed to actually test everything out. So let's start up a new tab. We're going to do I'm going to double check, and bada bing bada boom, we are I still have to change the beta 4 to beta to the 1.0 release, but there we go. We actually are now on properly set up now on the server. We just have to run the migration and stuff, which if we go /setup, we'll then be able to get into the setup stuff. And if you're wondering, the PHP VMS import, because we found that there's a server timing issue with running PHP scripts for way too long, I've decided to start development on a desktop application to migrate your database over, and that's currently in development. So if we just go start fresh, you'll see it pulled everything from the env file. That means the env file is working properly. So now we just have to go into our database information. So let's go do that right now. So we're going to our MySQL databases. Give it a second. Okay, and then we're just going to do, let's clear this out. You go bye-bye. You go bye-bye. So let's clear this out. Let's do VAOS, create database. Then we're going to do VAOS. Let's do password. Let's do, this is a test. Oh, password string must be used. This is a test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is a test. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Create user. Go back. All right. Something tells me this is going to screw up somehow, and I'm going to have to go back into the video. Oh, here. Watch this. There. Okay. Now we got that. We're going to then add user to database. All privileges. Make changes. Good. Alright. Go back. So everything should be set up there. So now we can close this out. And now we can go in and subsequently we can actually set up the database. So let's go back into the online installer. Our app URL is what's up here. So tfdi test.fsvaos.net. tfd I install. And let's see here, tfdi test underscore VAOS. tfdi test underscore VAOS. 1, 2, 3. And let's do our and we'll just complete the installation. Ah, crap. Something tells me I got the passwording. I got this. This is a test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, let's see. Now we're going to do a lesson of debugging because this is not playing nice, and I don't like how it's not playing nice. So apt true, save, go here. Okay, why are you not playing nice? Oh, can't connect. Oh, okay. So we gotta modify our env file directly on this one. Local. Looks like I gotta modify the installer because it's not providing these additional table fields, and we need to provide those table fields. So that's a bug that we'll fix. Anyways, moving here, and okay. And okay, so let's try this one more time. Ha ha ha. Okay, you know, here. Go here. Save changes. You go here. You go here. Okay, there we go. So now we are set up. So that was setting it up on the root of your domain. Now let's go over subdomain stuff. Now subdomain stuff is a little bit different. When you actually create a subdomain, you normally what you normally do is you go in your public folder, then you go into your and then normally you have a subfolder like here called VAOS, and then you set up your and then you just set up your stuff, you know, through that folder. But the issue is that, well, I mean, you can probably put your project folder in the public HTML folder. However, you can, sometimes it's not recommended. You can't. Additionally, say for example, your host doesn't allow you to have any of your files outside your public HTML folder. That's normally all the free hosts. I will say right now that if you don't have the ability to store the VAOS project folder here outside of this public HTML folder, then I would cancel your hosting subscription right now. I'm going to be flat and blunt and honest with you. You're inviting a lot more hurt than is necessary if you can't do that. So, with that considered, let's real quickly go through how to set that up. And it's basically you just create a new folder inside of here. You pop all the contents of the folder here. You then modify the your file, your index.php, and your boot.php files accordingly. For the index.php file, what you have to do is you need to do another backslash here. These two dots in the directory here, I'm just going to say that that's how you go up a directory. So we're going up a directory and going back to the VAOS. Now, if we put a subdomain and we put another folder inside the VAOS folder, what that means is that we have to go up a directory, and then we got to go up another directory to be able to find VAOS. It can be a little bit complicated, but once you get used to this, it's almost second nature when you're dealing with file systems, and that's just how Linux works. So that's VAOS set up on shared hosting. I know this was a long video, about 20 minutes. I was hoping I'll be able to cut it down, but well, there's so much information here that it's very hard to cut down. Well, if there's any additional things you need, if you need additional support, feel free to hit up the official Discord server. Discord server will be the link at the bottom of the screen. In the description. So thanks so much for downloading VAOS, and I hope to see you sometime very soon, hopefully within our tutorial.